Yeah, welcome to the live stream. We're going live tonight. Welcome. We ready. I'm ready. Except we couldn't hang out in the classroom tonight because they ain't got no security in classroom. Okay. What we bring to the table tonight is hot. It's always hot, but it is hotter tonight because this, challenging the judge, stopping they stuff and doing the eviction. It's turned out to be a situation for some people, and the people that are following along and doing what the real-time feedback from a bunch of people that have been putting up with some of them have been punched in the face, and we're kind of tired of getting punched in the face, so we learned how to do some face punching. I said, wait, no, skip that. I mean, you can punch them in the face you want to. I like to make it slow. Okay, slow and make them suffer. Because you've gone through a lot every day, waking up wondering if that's going to be the day. We ain't even going to talk about the neighbors and your family, By the time you get in this unlawful situation that everybody thinks is lawful, okay, well, they already reported that shit on their websites. They already got that shit, all of that rolling downhill already started. It started at the time. We're going to take a commercial break. Okay, I'm just trying to... It started at the time your happy ass signed the stinking thing. When you sign, that's when it started. Oh, so what you're saying, coach, is everybody shit's the same, pretty much. And you know what? You used to do a check down and say, well, criminals, whatever. But you know what? Criminal statutes, federal criminal statutes, okay, because we already know that state statutes don't have enacting clauses, titles, or bodies. I got to get the right finger up because my granddaughter Jocelyn told me that I was using the finger in one of my videos. She's 13. She's the one that's on the cooking channel over there at Coach's Kitchen. Yeah, we got a cooking channel, and we're about to turn into Lily's show. Okay, but yeah, I told her I would think I was fanning myself. I wasn't using... Okay, but yeah, when we step up to the plate with what we need to make a change, things happen. The website's down there. No, I'm not saying they ain't got anything to do with it, but it's not going to be down long, so we got to be working on that. But y'all know how I roll. I don't roll with limitations. So if you need something, now, if you call me and I'm busy, I'm going to tell you, text me when we hang up, only your name and your email address. And I'm still going to require that you send me an email and in the subject put fire or something, because most people send me stuff, don't put nothing. They put that in the subject and I know. Okay, and then that's a 2-step check when I get done answering the phone and running around, because it's been a little crazy around here with the situation with the website. But I'm willing to do whatever it takes. So that's what we're doing. And so for the people who have a problem or don't want to send me the money because the website's down, they can't see it, whatever, that's fine. You guys, you can check every day, because I'm not going to be... I have more people up here ready to go to when, then you guys just check. And when you feel safe, bam, jump in and we'll, see. Because we're up here going to be getting some stuff done. Now, this eviction situation. Now, we got Henry and they've been to Henry's house, I don't even know how many times, at least 4 or 5 times maybe. And so the thing about this situation with Henry, and I'm really happy that Henry and I have, and this is the same relationship that I want to have with everybody that I work with or have a relationship I'm friends with, to let you be honest with me. If you're honest with me, then, I know a bunch of cracks and some stuff. If you're honest, if you're not, then you're just going to put in this program, whatever. And so Henry said, Coach, right now, I don't have the $400 to file in federal court. I said, all right, that's what I figured anyway, because he just invested in the $40 package that we got on there to jam up the judge, to stop the judge. You can use it. Everybody's stuff is the same. It don't matter, criminal, whatever, criminal statutes aren't valid law. So bam, you just got checked down into the same, everybody's stuff. They're violating you with due process at the gate, like a whole bunch of different times. Oh, so yeah, we're learning how to address that. One of the things that we have learned that's really, and we're going to have in the workshop on the 28th, is that, and this is the document that we got on the website, $40, to answer to any judge's ruling. Bam! To answer to any judge's ruling. Okay, so what we haven't been doing is we have to plead the substantive due process, which is the 42 USC and how they kick, all the stuff they did to us and all these, all the whats. Okay, but we also have to address the why, which is the procedural stuff you have to object to preserve for later, and bam. Okay, so basically we've been doing the same thing in one document, trying to address what they did and why they're doing it. Here's how they violated me, whatever. They ain't trying to hear that. They're not that smart. They ain't trying to hear that. They be like, oh, you're objecting on the decision, so go file your appeal. Oh, they want you to go file an appeal because you don't have what you need to appeal. They do not provide a finding of facts and a conclusions of law, which is what you need to file any kind of an appeal. Without that, you got crap. That's what, what? And when you're in court, y'all can try this. You tell them, you know what? I'm going to sue you. They tell, well, you know what? Go get your attorney, whatever. You might as well just file you in it. What? I can file an appeal? Yep. Oh, come over and sit down. With the paperwork out for you. We'll help you out with that. Okay, so back to what we're doing for Henry, in addition to that. Because y'all know I ain't going to tell you with the same stuff all the time. I'm not. You can't roll without limitations if you go through the table with the same shit all the time. We ain't going through the table with the same stuff, no. You guys forget that their whole program started in the toilet. I'm just saying, started in the toilet. It's not judicial. They're making you think it is. It's just fraudulent concealment. It's not connected to the Constitution. That's why I have to follow it. Okay, so they have trained us, y'all, yes, all. That almost worked out, didn't it? They trained us to believe you have rights. I got rights. You can't be doing that. So that's the what. About the what, and then when you get done arguing about the what, you haven't touched on the why, and then the arguing starts, and the buddy judge. Okay, so let's just come on, coach, you're stalling. All right, so I already told you we ain't trying to do nothing in state court. So everybody knows we ain't doing nothing in state court. If you don't understand that we're not litigating anything in the state court, I don't know what to tell you, okay? We don't litigate anything in the state court. We crush them with the documents because, number one, we use federal case law and everything that we make, that you get from federal case law and federal acts. The federal acts are the federal criminal acts, how we bring the criminal liability to the table for them. That's what we use, federal case law. They can't respond to that with statutes and codes. Bam. No. State court players cannot respond to federal case law and federal acts with statutes and codes. It's automatic rap. They cannot respond to anything that you file that you've given me if you know what the hell you're doing. And you can't respond to the Constitution with crap. That's pretty much it. Okay, but there's another problem. The state players still can't respond. Even if they can figure out a way to get around that, they can't respond still. Because we teach you how to add the state, the government, the federal, it don't matter who it is. That's why we're in the situation room right now, because they get how to add them, the judge who's getting paid by the state. You add them, and then the attorney or snitch, whoever about this, you add them to your counterclaim. Oh, I know, coach, they're gonna say statute of limitations. You know what? All right, so jam them up in the counterclaim for fraudulent concealment, which is what we use in front of everything anyway. It's a federal legal doctrine that tolls the statute of limitations. Bam! So you can bring this stuff anytime. Oh, we ain't playing. So you file your counterclaim in their case without paying filing fees, without having to serve them. I just email the shit to them like a regular, without any of that. And what happens next? Well, I wonder why attorneys don't tell you this. What happens next? Well, when you add them to their own action, and somebody can comment in the section down there, because I may not have this right. Okay, because they've been saying my stuff is stupid and I'm a sovereign, whatever the hell. I know they call me some other names too, but that's all right. I'm taking them with respect. Because if y'all ass ain't pissed off, we ain't kicking y'all's butt. Okay, so what we learn how to do now, or what we're going to do in Henry's case, this is going to be, I hate to say the first time, but You know, people always ask me, oh, coach, how many wins, whatever. No, this is first time. What we're going to do, we got this puppy dog right here. We're going to take a commercial break. The lower court doesn't. Okay, most people think, coach, you're talking about, municipal court, JD court, whatever. I'm talking about any state court. Any state court does not have judicial authority to make any rulings on anybody's property. Now, I'm about to get worked up. But I'm going to, I got, come on, coach, you got this. Any attorney that wants to come on the show, we won't meet in here because I think y'all going to be mad with it. Okay, we'll meet in the ring or something and explain no state court has authority to rule on anybody's property, whether it's divorce property, whether it's property seized in foreclosure. Statutes and codes are non-violent laws. They don't have an acting clause, titles, or bodies, right? So the statute that they use to foreclose on you is total bullshit, but they do it all the time because people don't get what they need to. Divorce case? No. All of that crap is done because you agree. Either do acquiescence because your ass didn't say hell no. I don't care if y'all haul my ass to jail. I said hell no. Or you signed. Anybody been hauled to jail? Rest here. Put your clothes in this basket. Sign right here. Bend over. Sign right here. Put your shoes. Sign right here. I don't know. For all of the people on the state court level, they didn't have jurisdiction to do anything unless you hurt somebody or damage somebody's property. Keep it level right there. Connected to the Constitution. And the statutes at large, which is where the rules and laws or whatever, we're supposed to be following or whatever. Okay, so let's just get back to this. So we're going to file the 2-document thingy that's for $40 on the website. The website's down right now because some shit happened to it, and we're working on that. Okay? I ain't even want to hear nothing about it because I ain't got time to be freaking around and running around and looking behind me. I got people working on that. That's how I roll. You got to roll that way as a coach. Otherwise, I have gray hair. More. Okay, damn it. I shouldn't have went there. Anyway, so tonight we're going to talk about what I'm talking about, and then we can talk about what other people want to talk about later. Otherwise, we'll just be talking about little bits and pieces of stuff for people who don't understand. So we'll get that. Right now, if you listen up, you might learn. Okay, so in Henry's case, we're going to, we already filed a bunch of stuff they ignored, and I have people telling me this all the time. And we're going to take a file stamp, which is what we did in a file stamp copy, certified copy of all of the stuff from the docket sheet, the whole entire docket sheet, over to federal court, because that's really where you're going. The only thing we're doing here is punching them to get them to stop them, slow them down. Okay, so now we're going to, and the first way we were stopping them was by moving the case over to federal court. And that only worked for people who are assholes or people who have been to jail and wasn't scared of going to jail again. So we had to, okay, so then, we started rushing over to federal court and coming back with federal court with like a notice, a judicial notice or something to show whatever. And then we figured out how to stop them with federal case law, because that's all I use anyway. I mean, it's all I use, because I don't know when people start asking me these rules and shit for stuff. I don't know none of that shit. It's absolutely worthless. And when you use it, you hem your ass in a corner with limitations, and you can't roll with me like that, because we'll have too many problems. I have problems already with some people who communicate with me, but let me think but have trouble maintaining looking forward. Now, I'm not talking about the people that are dealing with the fear. That's not what I'm talking about, because I have that too. That's why I do what I do without limitations. So I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the people that say they've done everything, but the state court's still in control, and the federal court's paused, and they're not doing nothing. Now, I've been doing this a long time. I got a degree in communications. The words mean more to me than, and this is why sometimes when I talk to people, I start having a little bit of attitude, like, you haven't even got to the end of the sentence. Well, I already know where you're going. No offense, okay? But already know where you're going. And in this case, when people, I done everything, okay, let's just go through some stuff. Did you do this? Did you do that? Whatever. Okay, well, you know what? I don't even have to go through the stuff. People get in the program, they pay and whatever. They don't do the homework enough to understand. Or maybe he did, but he still didn't understand. I don't know. For me, if I tell you, okay, look, this is what we need to do. Okay? I'm not going to spend I'm going to try not to spend a whole lot of time on the negative stuff or what you did wrong or whatever, because that's looking backwards and that ain't helping nobody. Okay. I'm here to coach you. So I'm going to tell you, okay, this is what I would do based on a 20, 30-minute conversation. Now, this whole program is set up to jumpstart your thinking so you can be figuring some stuff out. So if you're telling me you got 9 documents and all this stuff filed over here, whatever. The thing is, in the words that you use to get to halfway to where we were, maybe less or maybe more, in those words, they let me know that you feel like it needs to be adjudicated over there to be stopped. Okay, so the problem is, in the UD court, it's a lesser court than the other state court that's also administrative court. So this is administrative check down court, that's a less of a court. Municipal court? Okay, coach, you ain't making no sense. Oh, shit, you think I'm not making sense? I sued their ass in 2017 for 3 $10 seatbelt tickets, and I had to move that. That's how I did and I can't talk about that anymore, okay? But what I can tell you is that municipal court gets its alleged judicial authority from the city ordinance. Look that shit up in your state court clerk's manual. That's where I looked. That's where I went. It's all right there. It's a little bit of jumbo crap mixed in there to try to, but there's no way they don't have jurisdiction to do crap. But, number one, we didn't realize that we need to do the substantive and the due process on separate documents to control them so they can't hide behind that shit. That's number one. Okay, so and we're having the workshop on 28th for that. Y'all see, I think it's $175 as soon as my team gets the website back up and it ain't there. So we're going to be back rolling. If you want to get workshop, call me. I'll text you the cash out thing and you can do that thing. I'll get your information that I need and write it down so you can have it. Because you're going to have to call me to secure your seat in the training, and I'm going to teach you guys how to make this 2-document thing that we got. Now, I'm hoping you guys make your own document because I'm hoping to have the information in like the last time, the video in there a few days ahead of time so that you guys can take it, can watch it. It's going to be in the workshop information center page when the website gets back up. So, and then you guys can make your own document, and then if you want, you can email it to me and let me know your name because sometimes people use their emails. I had one person send me an email said Black Bitch something. I don't know. Okay, so make sure I know who you are. And so my goal is to review 4 or 5 of them and pick out like the best one and then the worst one. And then we're going to review them, why it's the best one and why it's the worst one. And the 2 people that we pick out will get the same prize and they won't really know. I mean, of course, well, actually no one's really going to know unless they tell each other or something later. But I want to have an atmosphere where people can feel comfortable and take a chance because that's what this is all about. I have people get mad at me when I'm telling them, look, the words that you're saying are telling me that you think it needs to stay over there. No, coach, you're arguing with me. No, I'm not arguing with you. I'm letting you know if I was them and you said what you said or anywhere close like this, and sometimes these words that people say, and I'm just going to, are part of the words that you're thinking in your head that shouldn't come out because they let people know where you're at. And sometimes you don't even realize that you're saying them. Now, these people are trained. They can smell your fear when you walk out your house. I don't care how far away you live from the courthouse. And when you come in, if your head's not in the right place, then they're going to act on that. I don't care if you add the lender to your paperwork you get from me, that's fire as hell. They're going to ignore and keep on moving forward because they think you believe their crap. So when I'm telling you what I'm telling you, it's because I'm a coach. I care, we can be best friends. When it comes down to my job, this is a wrap, okay? I had a person at one point, I got fired. That's the first time I got fired because I box. I never had to count the lights unless I was up there replacing the freaking bulbs, okay? No. It was something weird going on over there with that, and then, so no. Now, I don't do weird, and I don't do drama. Okay, so right now, this is where we're at. And I don't have this on the website either yet. But if you need it. If you call me, I know you watch this stream, and I'll hook you up for $25. $25. Lily's figuring out how to just relax when I'm getting excited over here. $25. Demand to dismiss for lack of subject matter jurisdiction and demand to remove and transfer to federal district court. Okay, now I would ask why we're doing that. The number one answer would be because the state court don't have any judicial authority to be making any rulings on any private property. Period. That's it. They operate with statutes and codes, right? Not valid laws. The judge is being paid by the state as your property. The state stole. Okay, we're done now. The state, remember, at the gate, you sat down and signed the alleged, there was no bank. The bank didn't sign shit. You were the only one that signed when you sat down. And then after you left, somebody from the bank signed, stamp, paid to the order of, whatever, without recourse or whatever, and they signed. Or maybe Linda Green, Robo, something, yeah. And then they processed that through the Federal Reserve for electronic credits, okay? That I'm old. I've done. They processed it through the Federal Reserve for electronic credits. That's what they're saying was the mortgage. It was actually generated with your signature. They process it for electronic credits. And Modern Money Mechanics is a publication put out by these dudes that know way more about the fracking banking system. I said fracking. I'm talking to my grandkids, okay? Then I do. Modern Money Mechanics said that they're granted 9 times the amount that went into a demand deposit account. Now, I got a friend, Dr. Arthur, okay, who buys these things from as securities before they get wherever they come from to the alleged bank back. I don't know. And he said they get paid 22 times. I'm like, not times 9. I do, Jeff, I can't keep up. 22 times. Okay, wait a minute. And then, they're trying to take it back from you. They took it back from the last people. And then they claimed it on their taxes, wrote it off the insurance, and then some kind of way put it back in there. Okay, so they registered your deed in their office. The state law now, we're not subject to follow them, but they are. They're the ones supposed to follow these statutes and codes to make it fair for us. State law for property transfer, and every state, check your state if you don't think I know what I'm talking about, says that your property deed is supposed to be delivered to you, and it's not conveyed, yada, 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 a bunch of white people words and stuff, until it's delivered. But that's not. What they did was they registered and they did what they call a constructive delivery. Now, what's that mean, Coach? Yeah, I looked that shit up. I said that shit for a long time, but one day I looked it up. What constructive delivery means is after it gets registered, we ain't gonna talk about what it was before it was registered. Oh, hell no. Nobody's ever to talk about that ever again. What the hell was it before it was registered? Coach, help me. Come on now, y'all, keep up. Before it was registered, it was your private property. But the Constitution says not once, but in 2 different places that private property is not to be taxed. So they have to reclassify your property as a residential, commercial, or agricultural. Now, Lawrence, Kansas wrote me a letter and said they have 13 classifications. I said, Lord have mercy. I didn't even want to know what they reclassified. Okay, that's not the problem primero. Okay, because the first problem was the fact that they registered it allowed the first illegal lien to be put on your property. Now, I played football in college and 80. I boxed a whole bunch of this karate shit. I don't know. I'm not that. Those are things not smart people do. So I just have to keep it simple. They registered your property, and so the first illegal lien was the mortgage lien. I ain't going to take a commercial break. It was the mortgage lien. I know I'm talking crazy. They told me I was crazy. They made me take mill evaluations for 33 months, shipping me all over the place where I learned all of this stuff. Let me finish. Because I like to, people get mad at me because it's the way I roll. But until you feel it and see it in your head, we ain't done nothing. There's no value for the both of us, okay? So look at it this way. If there were several people who own property, all of those people would have to be present to sign that stinking lien, right? So the alleged lender who didn't sign shit, there was all these people that was representing said, ain't none of them said they was a lender. The lender didn't sign nothing. Okay, so the fact that they accepted the signatures from the homeowners proves that the homeowner owned that property, and I smell stink. Or somebody else would have to be there to sign. Now, how does that work? Because, Back before they took gold and silver, all our debts are supposed to be paid and all that shit. And that gets way more complicated, people. So let's just stay right here. Bam. They registered your deed and now they have total control of. No. People thought, dude, my deed's in an LLC. It's locked up. No, dude, you got a copy of that shit. And I guarantee you, once they turned into a security and did all that creepy, and they sent your ass a copy. Now, I did that, made a copy of it to security and sent it to them to make them think they are owning their shit. Oh, they be knocking on the door. Oh, but it's okay for them. It's called real estate deed fraud. And the property tax package has that lawsuit in the property tax lawsuit package. Because I just got tired of people asking me. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it's property tax. It don't matter if it's freaking traffic tickets. It's all the same. They're violating your due process. Some is worse than others because they want to send you to jail. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're going to transfer. Now, when I did this, I transferred my case I paid for over to federal court because it don't matter who paid for it if the case is paid for over here, because that was the basis of me moving mine. Already paid over here, and they jacked it up. So why should I have to pay again? Y'all gonna jack it up? I asked. And then people telling me I'm too direct. Well, I don't even like being nowhere close to a line. I don't, because those people on the line are the ones who want to do everything, And it's funny how you get trained. When my kids were little, I coached bitty basketball, and they gave me like 2 kids from all these different schools. They didn't know each other, whatever. And then, they were like in the 4th grade. So what we did was we just set up our offense to be a runner. And we just had everybody line up, and the person bringing the ball wasn't always the guy. The person bringing the ball slapped the ball, and then the designated runner would take off. And we already knew who's first runner, who's second runner, whatever. The runner would take off, yeah. And then we got all these layups. And the parents were like, what the hell? I'm like, dude, why should we have to? Okay, so the other side of this is I told the kids, if you enjoy doing this, layups down the middle, and we have to do a bunch of running. Because you can't have runners and be running if you're not in shape. So them kids was running 2-3 games. Some dads was figuring it out. So they was telling their kids, run back. So we just had like 2 more kids run back with the runner. So only 2 kids. Yeah, so that's us, that's what we're doing here. Now we're just gonna, and what I need to add to this is the fraudulent concealment, which I don't have on here. Our fraudulent concealment should be added to everything in the front. At the gate, fraudulent concealment, it's a legal doctrine. It tolls the statute of limitations. Shuts it down. Okay, so we filed the judicial notice in Henry's case. Henry's case was the one that we came up with it. We filed the judicial notice of fraudulent conveyance, and we just filed it right in the case. They can't do a damn thing about it. Cannot stop it. It's a wrap. And then we followed it up with the less pendants the next day. You don't want to file them both on the same day because they'll figure out. Most of the places don't know what fraudulent conveyance is. Fraudulent conveyance is also a federal law. You're claiming your property being stolen with the shuffling of paperwork. That's badass because now you ain't got to explain all of that shit. They're doing some shit with the paper. And when you file these 2 documents, it moves your ass up to the number 1 lien spot. Bam, right on top. You're challenging the mortgage that is being fraudulently conveyed. Not after the signing. No, there's no after. I don't think there would. I would be laughing way too hard, okay? Because if you want to deal with these fools, you got to do what they don't want you to do. I got punched in the face. You got to do what they don't want you to do. They show good at helping you. People get freaked out because, I don't know if I can do it. Okay, dude, their crap starts in the middle of the cesspool. I don't care what they do. They can't clean it up. Supplemental pleading. You can learn how to do a supplemental pleading if you go to the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure and look up filing an amendment. Supplemental pleading, down below, filing an amendment and kissing their butt, which I never do with that shit anyway. I just did what I did anyway, and let them whine and made the judge tell me. And supplemental pleading, you can change your stuff, adjust it, whatever, as long as you add a party, add account, or both, and is connected to the original reason why you're there. And they can't do nothing about it. They can't do a damn thing about it. Supplemental pleading. Okay. Now, when I was telling everybody to put that judicial notice in the case to slow them down, jam them up, I had a few people telling me, "Oh, coach, you didn't stop nothing. You don't know what you're talking about, or whatever. You know? And I'm like, okay, you know what? Number one, I ain't offering nobody no guarantees on shit doing where they need to be doing it. That ain't, you know, whatever. So I ain't got time for that. I don't have, you know. Now, we can come up with a strategy or some kind of something, but come on now. If I had it all worked out like that, none of us would be struggling. So I think some people need to have a different attitude. They need to have a different attitude, okay? But I don't care about being wrong. It doesn't bother me to be wrong because if you're, and my coach told me, if you're not jacking up something, you ain't doing. But you know what? If you don't allow yourself to be in a position to fail, you're going to be stressing out. And you're not gonna get shit done. Now, in this system, you can adjust and change anything. I don't care what they told you or what you learned. All of that shit that you learned before you got here need to be chunked down the street. You can't use none of that stuff. The whole mindset needs to be different. If your mindset is not in the right place, when you communicate with them on the phone, in the Zoom hearing, to the clerk when you file your stuff, they will pick your ass apart. And you wonder why the state courts told the federal court they still have jurisdiction. Sit on your shit over there. Now, people get mad when I'm picking at them. I have a lot of empathy. And, you know, when I work with kids, it works out great. You know, one of my rules was, you know, I don't like to make decisions when I'm grumpy. Now, that doesn't really work well in your marriage. I think that's why I was married for 4 years. But, you know, we have the rules for a reason. Now, I have the judicial notice lawsuit package on and that's what we're using here. The judicial notice. So now we are objecting to their failure to take judicial notice of the fraudulent conveyance, and we're objecting to the failure to recognize the les pendens lien that we filed in the case. Oh, now that $25 document all of a sudden is bringing a little spark to the fire, a little gasoline. Okay, remember, they're in administrative court jacking you over, and when you tell them that, they just laugh. But they're trying to use the administrative rules to jack you over. So we laughing. So when they ignored your judicial notice, they violated your due process. This whole thing is about reversing their shit or using it against them. You ain't gonna get nowhere trying to stop the UD court in UD court. No, we do that by filing your counterclaim in UD court and then filing your lawsuit in federal court. And then you take a complete docket sheet, copy of the docket sheet, and then the stuff that you filed, and then your evidence, your exhibits, to show that court don't have jurisdiction, and you use that as evidence in your federal filing to why they were able to violate. Not what they, because everybody thinks you have rights. You got the right to shut the hell up. You got the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. That's what they told me all those times. Now, don't get it wrong. I ain't never been convicted of crap, and I ain't never took the deal. So when you say that, you better throw the other part right on the table too. Bam. Okay, so Henry done all that. So now I emailed this out to them yesterday, so I know they were happy to read my words in the email. And I told them, for the white people that are privileged, or the black people, or the Mexican, it don't matter. For the privileged ass people that don't like the words in my email, they can read the letter that's attached to it. And this is fire. Remember, we had to split them up instead of having them both on one. This is a supplemental pleading substantive due process violation. We just need to put like 20 billion on there or something. Now, I forgot about this. And then we'll see everybody that's here tonight, because I'll be at the. Now, for the people who don't know that I'm totally out of control and I love my job, this might reiterate that. Okay, we got this other document that Henry's going to be filing, and I don't even think that he knows about it yet. But and him and I both on it. We both on it. Oh, Coach, you're talking crazy. Oh, hell no. No, they're telling me to take a commercial break. No, right there. I'm totally out of control. I stay in real good shape for it. Bam. Any attorneys want to come and, come on down. Just give me a call and come on down. So this puppy dog right here is the $2 million supplemental pleading. Because, we can file a whole bunch of lawsuits now. We can file a supplemental pleading to the same shit. You got what? They said I can't do that. They're kind of busy anyway, because they can't answer. Remember? Oh, I love my job. Okay, so, and I ain't trying to go to the table with the same shit. All right, we ain't taking the same stuff. Okay, because only boring people. We don't roll with limitations. Okay, so $2 million supplemental pleading for defamation, professional defamation, fraudulent concealment, and due process violation under 1983. Defamation, Coach? Well, yeah. Now I'm just gonna go because for the people who do it took me a minute because I know what y'all thinking. How you gonna pull that off with you and Henry on the same? Okay, it's all the same. Remember? Come on now. Y'all, if I need to go to a commercial break, ain't got I worked out. We ain't got time to be stopping. I'll stop when I start sweating. Defamation. Okay, so for Henry, he was defamed when all of the stuff they did to him, they reported that he was in default and that he was all this stuff, and they even tried to throw him out. They defamed him by going after him with statute and codes aren't valid laws, and they pretty much now into it. Violated his due process. Okay, so what about me, Coach House? Okay, so they professionally defamed me when they threw out his shit. They didn't even listen to it. They didn't even rule on it. They didn't provide a finding of facts and a conclusions of law. Just tossed his shit out and told him to go pack his shit. So basically saying my stuff's trash. I wonder what they're saying now. So if you follow my stuff and you need to have this, I haven't decided what, I signed it for Henry, and now he got to do is just sign his little thing on there, and that's a wrap. I signed it. Him and I going in on that. They want to do this shit, then this is how we're going to do it. And I'm hoping that I'll be doing this on anybody that want to dismiss my shit. I'll just send this shit. I know. Can do that? No, I think they can. They're kind of mad. They follow me around sometimes. Follow me around all they want to do. Come on, guys. Actually, I'll just text you because I only go a couple of places. So to eat dinner, to go shopping for my dog Lily. We went shopping at the dog store, and she kept trying to get stuff, and so I told her no. Y'all know how to go. When we get to the line, she come with this big old thing this long like that, and she's carrying it out. She just went over. Okay, we was there, and we're standing there. Then she walked off for a second. Came back with, and I'm like, dude, I just act like I didn't know her. I think she was shoplifting. Yeah, and the lady at the checkout looked at me and looked at her. I said, she ain't with me. And by the time I said that, she started, okay, maybe she is. Here, I'll buy it for her. Yeah, it was a big old chew toy. Yeah, she's having a good time. So that's what we got going on right now. We got these 3 documents that we were sending that I told Henry that we were sending, and then I made this other one because I'm just out of control. And I'm sick of these people lying. Lying, telling everybody my stuff's trash. Okay, but when you whip it out on their ass, they're having a meltdown. They're running around back there in the back, come back with the supervisor or whatever, trying to come up with it. So I don't know. They're gonna toss my shit. I got a lot of work over here. So I think me and Henry can come out with, we're going in for $2 million. Yeah. We can probably negotiate a little off. So, I don't know. You stop the foreclosure by filing the counterclaim and the lawsuit package that you get from winning court now when we get it back up. But before you file the counterclaim and you add the attorney, whoever set that up, add the attorney to it, because the attorney they all are bar members working together in a scheme that they started to do this. And I say that because have you ever looked at the registration? There's a city registration department that where your deeds and all start at. And once it gets registered in that corporation, it goes out to, the land bank, the Register of Deeds Association. Now, some states it's a little bit twisted. And then it goes out to the land bank. And when it gets in, you register in the land bank and all this other stuff, then people overseas can bid on you. Everybody can see your property, what's going on with it when you let them. Okay, back in the day, if someone showed up at my house and said that I was on there, I didn't whip out your shit. Let me take a look at your deed. Okay, if it's not dated and signed, dated and notarized prior to mine, then it's a wrap. Dude, that ain't the right date. I think you need to hop your ass online. No, it didn't need to be all that. People don't realize that once they get your deed registered in the office, the state uses your stinking property for collateral for loans from the federal government and all kind of different stuff. People don't realize that there's already a lien. There's another lien put on your property in addition to the first illegal lane that they used to. Okay, we don't want to go down now. So it's more a matter of stopping the court process. Truth and peace. It's stopping the court process. It don't matter what it is, because it's all the same. They're violating your due process with shit that ain't real, lies, all of that. That's what's going on. It's more stopping the court process. And when you do that, they can't litigate a case that they're a party to. They can't represent each other from the same law firm. And if you wanted to be asked about it, you can add the State Bar Association, and now none of their friend attorneys can represent them in court either. Bam. That's how you stop a court case. It don't matter what the hell it is. Does not matter what the hell it is. They can't represent themselves. They can't litigate a case too. Okay, and then I would file my real lawsuit in federal court against their asses. And this is check down how you do it. This ain't in the instructional video. I tell people this all the time, and then they get their stuff, they go back to the instructional video. They forget all the words. Okay, you want to do a check down. Once you get them in federal court, serve their asses, have a complete docket sheet, add as an exhibit, not evidence, because you ain't in a judicial court still. So it's an exhibit to show the why, not what. We want to show the why they're able to violate you. Oh, bam. So now the parties are served. You're in federal court. You got your exhibit of evidence. Okay, we'll work on that. And now you're going to ask nobody for shit. I don't ask them for shit. I would demand that the federal chief judge, you order them to the settlement table because they couldn't answer to damn thing that you filed in state court. They still can't, because they don't have a bar card. I didn't say federal license. They don't have a bar card. They can't answer to nothing because they don't have a bar card to answer to anything on the federal level. And I haven't had one person tell me that that somebody came up with a federal attorney to challenge them. Okay, because here's the thing. When you go in with the facts, Jack, it's a wrap. You're not arguing. I mean, the judge has been added to their own shit. So the foreclosure, how's it going to go forward? Okay, you not only added them as a counterclaim to their own stuff, they're going to try to ignore it, but then you file your lawsuit over in federal court. And then now they got served. And if you want to be really shitty about it, then you can do what my sister and I did. We added the attorney from the state level. We added his property to the federal filing as damages. And we looked it up, and the LLC, so we added the LLC too. And then we had to serve his wife to counterclaim. Oh, they were really mad. And in the end, I took the attorney off and left his wife on. And my sister asked why I did that. And I told her, I think maybe that's the empathy. I don't know, feeling sorry for him because he's going to be, bam, getting his face slapped every day when he gets home. Because we added the State Bar Association to her stuff too. So I just let her know that none of his friends, his friends can't help him. He can't help them. And the other attorneys from the State Bar can't help them, him, or her. Well, her, him, or yeah. We probably have to stop talking about that now, too. So, what's up, Coach Ice Jr.? Truth and peace. Well, thank you. Those are beautiful hearts. We're about to get out of here now. I got some new friends in Texas, and I don't know if they're here tonight. I hope they're here. That's absolutely, actually, policy, statutes, and codes are non-valid laws. I don't know what the hell to say about that one. But I would say yes to your comment there. But if I was in court, I'd have to have, I gotta see definition. I know it's not law though, so I'm gonna have to say, yeah, that's working pretty good. Oh, I love that. Okay. You know what? When they see you come in acting like you won, I didn't say winning. Come on. I said acting like you won. I mean, at the end of the day, what do you got to lose anyway? But when they see you come in acting like you won, oh, dang. Yeah. Okay, so they ain't used to champions. Okay, champions are the people that see the beginning, they see the end, and then they're willing to do whatever the hell it takes in the middle. That's the acting like you won part, okay? Because you doing whatever the hell it takes, you might as well act like you won. That's the best you can do. Might as well act like you won. Besides, you see the difference. You seen the difference when you stuck that shit in their face that you got. They start calling you the Mr. N. Okay, never mind. Now they call me a few I had a dude ask me one time, they wanted to know why it was I was helping the poor. He was old last attorney. He called me a body part head. Yeah. He wanted to know why I was helping the poor. And I was talking to this fool on the internet. We was messaging when he wrote me that shit. I just started laughing. I was laughing so hard. My ex-wife came in here to see what the hell was the problem. Well, she's my wife. He's asked me why, so I'm like, okay, I think I can handle that. The last I checked, the rich people don't need no help. I mean, I'm thinking that they don't need no help. Why I'm helping the poor? I don't know. Maybe he has something there because the poor ain't got no money. Okay, if I had to answer it now, I'd tell him I'm helping the people like me. Those are the people that I wanted to help in the first place. So that's who I'm helping, the people like me. They can put up with me. We can work this out. The goal is to help jumpstart your critical thinking process. You don't have to spend a whole bunch of years. You just have to learn what's on that paper. I'm serious. If you learn what's on the paper. Okay, so what am I going to say? There's plenty on the paper that we need to talk about. People don't realize that you don't have to be in a court setting to have them take your words and figure out that you ain't where you need to be. Sometimes they'll tell you, oh, you can't file that, whatever. Oh, Lord. Oh, my God. Coach gave me this stuff, and I didn't know what the hell. Coach, by the time you contact me, after you leave the court down the road and you get home, okay, you can settle down. You're still a little wound up. I don't even like talking to people the same day. So after you do your research, look that shit up, learn the word. No. But the problem is the smell that you left over there when you start, oh my God, oh, yeah. They're like laughing in the back of their head. And then you wonder why they're giving you more shit. Oh, now let's go in here acting like we won already, huh? I guess you said go in talking crap like you black. I don't know, black people I don't know. White people talk crap too, but it makes a difference. If you have confidence and you're talking shit, oh, wait, you don't have to talk shit if you know what's on the paper. So we're going to see what they got, they told Henry they was coming back. I don't know, the fourth or fifth time. I can't keep up. So now when they come back, well, they're going to deal with this first. Oh, yeah. And so now the sheriff department going to have to get somebody else to go and throw him out. I added me and Henry on here together for the defamation, that when they reported that Henry was in default and all that shit, and when they threw my stuff out, they defended me. So we're just gonna go in and do it that way and see. I didn't want to play because I don't roll limitations and I ain't backing up. I don't go sit down. I ain't going nowhere. I'm going down with the ship. We're gonna have a game plan to where the ship ain't going down. Okay, and that's kind of how I roll. If we have to change the game plan, then we'll make the changes. I get frustrated when I talk to people. Oh, well, coach, you said, okay, you know what? Number one, I didn't want to hear that. So let's try and figure out what is the difference between where you're at and the people that left the video reviews on the video review instructional video review playlist. Okay, Let's try to figure out what's the difference between where you're at, what you've done, what they something. It's sad because some people that I've helped have a hard time getting their head out of the conventional system. I've had people tell me, I was like, okay, you got your federal case filed. Did you serve the parties? Well, no, I didn't serve the parties yet because I need a case number. But you just said they're coming to your house at any time to throw you out. I need a case number to serve the parties. You can write in there, case number to be determined when they get done stalling me out, so they'll throw my shit out in the yard. And people don't serve the parties. They listen to that. Oh, well, I'm in California, so they do things different here. Oh, I'm sure they do, because to get away with that shit. Now the person telling me, oh, well, the judge wouldn't take it under the window. Well, what'd you do about it? Or the clerk would not take his pay work and under the window and put it. What'd you do about it? You just left? Did you add the clerk to it? Did you go back and file it electronically? Did you drive over to the next county and file it over there and tell them to email it over to them because you don't have enough gas and you can't make it over there in time? They're going to put out a warrant for your arrest. Did you contact the coach and ask for, coach, these are the ideas that I came up with. Do you have any? Or did we just go sit the F down? And then the next time they just said something else. And then we just went and set the F down. And then in the end, we're over here whining and arguing with me when we're trying to, now, So I don't do drama. In this situation, we're still working it out, but we're real close. You got to understand, I got a lot of people in the ring, and I can only take on the emotional amount of stuff from people that I can take. And when I get to the point where I can't take anymore, then I'm going to tell you, I can't help you. I'm probably going to block you. Because I don't work well with people that are maxed out, whatever, and people, I call it being disrespectful. That's the way I see it. So, and, if you want to coach yourself, that's fine. I don't argue. I don't argue anymore. That's why I got divorced. I'm not arguing anymore. So, if I care about you, I'll spend a little time trying to convince you, but at the end of the day, you're the one that's attorney for your shit. You're going to have to be the one to make the call. And when I tell you that, that's a wrap. Don't call me and ask me no more. Because, bam, you weren't listening to me when I was telling you in the first place. You wouldn't be in the position that you're in. So I got to get out of here and get some more work done. And I got to take my dog outside. Let's talk records. I'm glad you can make it better late than never, and you can always watch it again because we got fire in it. Okay, guys, thank you guys for the value of sharing your time, and I hope my people get the website up and running tomorrow so everybody can get back to normal over here.